I was driving with, he recognized her right away because he'd spent a lot of time in jail, so he knew that jailhouse, and he knew she was coming out of court.
Right.
And I just, he goes, hey, you need a ride? He rolled on the one, and she said, yeah. So she got in the truck with us, and I looked her over, and then he said, yeah, what were you in for? And she says, the usual, and I was, oh shit, it's a city and county of San Francisco. And then he's trying to negotiate. Well, we're going to give you this ride. What are you going to give us in return? I thought, no, dude. We're not going there. I'm giving her a ride 2 blocks up the street. I want to get her out of the truck as soon as I can.
We've talked about this before. I probably in 6+ years at the Venetian, I was asked for drugs maybe 3 times, and always weed. It was always something lame. Where to go get weed? And I said, ask a cab driver. And prostitution. Maybe once, and it was really not strippers all the time. Yeah. But prostitution, it was. I never got asked. Can you arrange something? Can you do this? Yeah. Where are they? I mean, they were. It was go to any center bar, look for a girl with clear high heels and a little tiny black purse. Yeah, I got asked a couple of times. In fact, I remember when we first opened, and we had these U-Haul type cowboy. Who came in with literally wearing 10-gallon cowboy hats. Yeah. And they were asking about the hotel, and I said, well, on the 4th floor we have a spa, and then as one guy said to his buddy, oh, that's where they keep the hookers. And I thought, no, it's not a brothel, it's a spa. It's like cold storage.
Yeah, it's like cold storage. That's where we keep them up there. In a freezer or something. But they, again, they thought that it was all legal, and that's it. And I had guys come to the desk in the daytime, want me to arrange a massage for them, and they're getting they were Mexican guys, they staying in the hotel, and they were giving that leery, oh. And I said, well, do you want a male or female? And I said, you're getting a massage and nothing else. Yeah. There are no happy endings in this hotel.
Yeah, because we had a high-end massage or high-end spa in Canyon Ranch.
Yeah. So you're gonna your muscles be nice and relaxed, and so is your wallet. Yeah. Basically, at the end of it. But you're not getting your nuts off. I mean, I'm sorry, unless you're doing it yourself.
Yeah, that's funny. I never knew that. That's hysterical.
Yeah, that happened.
That's where we keep all the prostitutes. You know that, Julia? We keep all our prostitutes in the spa.
Yeah. Exactly.
Wow. Yeah. Wow. That's what they said. No. It's not that kind of. It's a real spa.
Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. This is the Pod Bay Door. John's with me.
Yes.
And much to the hooray of our listeners, Julia's back.
Hi.
Hello, Julia. I have to say that John, we should be insulted, but I don't think we are.
No.
In the interim, we've had one where John and I did the show by ourselves, and I received no less than 5 emails and contacts asking where Julia was. Yeah. So clearly we are not the focus of this show, John.
No.
Yeah. So all of you, Julia is back. She's going to join us today. But
you and I stink, Jamie.
I know we
haven't had a shower since the last podcast.
Yeah. So we're all just sitting here naked with the podcast. That's right.
That's right.
But thanks to our sponsor this month, MRS Events, wonderful local company providing all entertainment, models, talent, and
hot chicks,
John. And they musicians and everything, event planning. They do a fantastic job. That's mrs-events.com. But we're going to talk a little bit about some. It's not negative. It's just really fun information, something that people coming to Las Vegas should know. But slot machines are killing us.
Yeah, you're not killing me.
Not killing you. Do you guys slot machines? Nothing.
Only megabucks.
Only megabucks.
Yep.
Okay. And not often.
No.
I always, there was a time when I first moved here, I wanted to buy one of the ones that are out of commission that you can actually feed real coins to.
Yes.
Just for fun, just have it in the house. Because you can have those legally here. Mm-hmm. Literally, what they used to call the one-armed bandit when you actually had to pull a lever. Right. And I still wouldn't mind one of those. I think those would be pretty cool, like a pinball machine game.
Oh, that'd be fantastic. Yeah. But I found a fantastic book. It has a long title. It says Addiction by Design, Machine Gambling in Las Vegas. And it's by the author Natasha Dow Schul. She is a cultural anthropologist, and she did a 15-year study here in Las Vegas, and she found what she has coined the term machine zone. And Julia, you might find this interesting. She refers to it as the zone of playing slot machines as being in the flow of being a writer or an artist. Do you have a flow? Do you go into a flow where you're,
I do.
You're on it? Mm-hmm. Okay. Now she separated it, and I was just watching something about the NFL, and she said absolutely not athletics flow. It's a completely different mindset. But she said an artist or writer, and she said the rhythm and the feedback of the machines cause our sensations to fade to only what is going on the machine.
Yeah.
That's creepy.
Yeah, is it creepy?
Yeah, we've seen that. I mean, there have been reports when they had fires in the hotel.
Yeah.
And they're getting people out, and people still stay there at the slot machines.
Yeah.
Because they are in tune with that, and then everything else blanks out. You don't, it's so interesting how they always say that the hotels, they try to conspire so you don't know what time it is. There's no clocks or anything. But when you're in that, I think when they're in that flow, that they don't care. You could have clocks on every wall. They're not going to look at them. They're just in the moment.
Yeah. Well, according to Ms. Schul, you reach a point while you're playing where there's no hunger, there's no thirst, and there's literally no concern except for the flow of the game. And she even went so far in her data to find out that it doesn't matter if you win or lose. That many of the participants in the study, when they hit a jackpot of any size, they were inconvenienced by that. It broke the flow of the game. Yeah.
Well, I have some anecdotes that actually support what she's saying.
Yeah.
You guys know that there are people that actually pee and crap their pants.
Yeah.
Because they've been sitting. It happens probably a couple times a month at every casino. Yeah. There will be someone who are crapping their pants or peeing their pants because they've literally been sitting at that machine all night.
Yeah.
And they will not even get up to go to use the restroom.
Right.
So they have to send out the cleanup crew and...
Yeah. Now, when
it's a real thing.
Oh, it's absolutely real.
Yeah.
I remember being told this by other patrons. That, they would, of course, we at the concierge desk got all the fun questions.
Yeah.
And I remember that. I remember very clearly that a woman came up to me, middle-aged or a little more, and she described this individual that was smelly and so on and so forth. And as I saw the security go out, I just shook my head. I couldn't believe it.
It happened a lot when I worked at the Rio.
They should comp them.
Because it was a locals place. Yeah, they should.
Here you go. Here's your diaper.
Well, the Rio is locals.
Yeah.
And Venetian is more tourist.
Yeah.
So it's more the locals who have a true addiction that this happens with. So we had it happen all the time.
Yeah. Yeah, but penny slots, of course, now are the number one earner in Las Vegas. Have been for quite some time. And if anybody's ever wondering that if you see Lucis slots or 97% payback, there's a certain payback that is by law necessary. But it's a very loose definition, and it's not a very clear definition of what a payback is as far as a machine is concerned. It has to do with hours of play and dollars in, almost the same as comping. But the penny slots are not only our biggest earner, but they are the biggest sucker of money out of our wallets.
Yeah.
I mean, and who plays a penny? You're not going to play a penny. You play, most of the things now, I don't know if you guys have seen it, but there are multiple lines, multiple coins in, and a penny slot, generally speaking, you're in 45 to 60 cents, or you can't play, and I mean, dollar after dollar after dollar just flies away. But we always made fun of the locals and the oxygen tanks and the retired
while
people.
They smoked.
Yeah, while they smoked.
Oh,
and, now I see more and more of the same oxygen tank, same woman with the vapor.
Yeah.
With the
and that's more obnoxious. I find the vapor just because there's just big clouds.
Oh, it's nasty.
It's nasty.
The smoke is blue. It's just.
Is it blue? I've never seen a blue one.
I'm like,
oh, that's funny.
Get this out of my face.
I know I've seen ones that are shaped like grenades and have digital displays, and you can actually adjust the plume. And it's just nonsense. But if anybody's ever think we're joking about the oxygen tanks and the smoking and the old people, they're sitting there.
Oh, yeah, it's
they're
everywhere.
Absolutely sitting there.
They light their cigarette with the last cigarette.
Yeah,
there's that appeal of the addictive personality, whether they're smoking and drinking and gambling. It all seems to go together.
Yeah,
because even when I worked there, in 2000. The number of people who smoked had gone way down, but nevertheless, you were hard pressed to find a non-smoking poker room. I looked for some, and they had a few, but they closed down because, again, it's these things all kind of tie together, and it was hard to find like I said, a non-smoking poker room for poker players that didn't smoke.
Yeah. Yeah, well, there's a lot of problems with poker rooms for me. Yeah. Everybody's gonna scream at me, but I can't stand playing poker with women. Because you can't read them. I can't read a woman. Especially an Asian woman with sunglasses and in the corner, just glaring at you, and I can't stand it. But who knows? Now, well, there's another story recently in the online news about bad beat, no payoff. Have you seen that? Do you guys know what a bad beat is?
No.
Bad beat in poker is basically when one guy has a fantastic hand and he got it won, and then he's just beaten by one card or one suit or one hand, and it's called a bad beat. Oftentimes they'll split the pot. And that person that had this amazing hand will get a percentage of the pot, and the rest, and the other guy gets it. But there's also a running total of bad beat, much like a slot machine, where they keep it's a progressive, where a dollar will go in every bad beat or every hand. This is, I believe, the article said this is the fourth bad beat progressive that has been denied. Because they say the bylaws of their definition of bad beat say they don't have to recognize it. And we're talking, in the area of 50, 60,000 on one of them. Yeah. But so do you guys, what's different between us and the players? What's different between us and the woman or man sitting there that goes so far as to defecate? I mean, what's different in our minds? I mean, for me, it's the pain of the every single nickel. I can just feel it. It's like that's a shot in my ribs. So what's different? Do you know a person with that is on the edge of a gambling thing, or?
No, but I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. I really don't know. I think it's just maybe experiencing the highs and lows. Maybe people just crave that risk.
Yeah.
Almost like jumping out of a plane, which it is. I mean, some people are gambling their.
Yeah.
Well, Larry Flint said that since he was paralyzed, that gambling became a substitute for sex for him.
Mm.
Yeah.
And I guess it is that thrill. You kind of get that rush, and he wins, he loses. I don't think that really matters to him.
Yeah. I recently watched Molly's Game with Jessica Chastain, and she ran the. It's a gray area, but ran a illegal poker room in the hotel in Los Angeles, it became celebrities and high dollar people, and I watched it, and besides the movie being and it was Aaron Sorkin's directorial debut. He's fantastic. I love him, but besides being that, watching the story unfold, you're right. I can't imagine being okay. 100,000, 200,000, $500,000. Full mill. Just goes away. My
aunt was married to a guy. She was married 3 or 4 times before she died. And this was her last husband. Mm-hmm. And he was big on horse racing. Yeah. Anyhow, my aunt had cancer. And when she died, they had a pretty big life insurance policy on her. So he got that money. And then his mother, who had a really nice house in what became a very affluent area of the Bay Area, she died while he had the house, and it was paid for, and he sold it. And anyhow, this is a guy who was a cab driver, who became a millionaire then, right? I mean, he's got the insurance policy. He sold his mom's house. He's got over $1 million, and he kind of disappeared. Family didn't see him for a long time. Well, every day, he said later on, every day he went to the racetrack, and he bet with the same guys, and he sat there, and every day he went back and he played the horses, and it took him 6 years to lose all the money.
Oh,
and then he was back driving a cab. And I thought, if after I lost like $1,000, $2,000 out of that $1 million, I'd find another hobby.
Yeah.
World travel or something, at least, but I'm not going to be there. After a while, it's really like, hey, you know what? I really suck at this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
6 years and now I'm dead broke. I got to go back to driving a taxi cab.
And let me remind all the listeners, Las Vegas is built on losers.
Absolutely.
We make so much money here that we as residents don't pay income taxes even.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you think you're going to beat the system, you're not.
Well, even when they advertise, hey, 98% payback. Well, what they're saying is you'll only lose 2%.
Right.
That's all it means.
You're still losing. Yeah, exactly.
You're still losing.
The house always wins.
Yeah.
I heard something. My mom had an acquaintance, and she used the phrase, and I don't know why this stuck in my brain, that she said they're going to Laughlin in this case, but same place, just a river. But she said I've got 1,200 to lose. And I didn't, I've heard that 100,000 times, and for this time I took a pause. I'm like, you have 1,200 to lose,
so you're going to.
Well, I need a new lens and a microphone, and I need all this stuff. Well, and I just thought to myself, oh my God. I mean, most people say, I don't know if you heard the on a previous podcast, the average per family gambling loss has gone down to under $250. So that's good and bad, for us. But I have $1,200. I'm taking $1,200 to lose. That was the phrase.
Why don't you invest it? Make something off it.
Well, yeah. I don't know, But at the same time, I'm a giant kid. I love amusement parks, and I am willing to spend a tremendous amount of money to be a VIP at a Magic Mountain or a Disneyland. Because I don't do lines anymore.
Yeah,
I'll pay a lot of money to enjoy that, and again, just like gambling,
it's the same feeling.
Just like gambling, I'm not keeping anything except memories, and yet I think to myself, well, Disneyland, that's kind of a fun memory. You walk around, you get your stuff, and you have pictures and so on. But gambling, there's no fun memory. I don't know. I mean,
it's not a life experience.
Well, there's always a chance for them that she said she has 1,200 to lose, that she could win. That could be the time that she wins.
Yeah,
she could come back with 1,500.
That's the high.
The next time, that's the high. That's always where you go to Disneyland. Yeah, you had a great time, whatever. But you're not going to walk away with something more than what you went in for. There's always that chance.
Yeah.
You're
not throwing bones with Mickey and going to lose an extra $5.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. Or strip poker.
Well, I mean, they've called Vegas the Disneyland for adults.
It is
for many years.
Yeah.
I mean, is it really though?
I think it is.
Yeah, it is.
For a certain kind of adults.
It's a certain kind, yeah. Where I guess we're spoiled in a way, or numb in a way, because a family from Connecticut, they're not used to what goes on here, so it maybe is incredibly fun. I don't know. Is it? I just can't see any trip here being so incredibly fun. But
because we live here.
Yeah, I guess. Is that why?
I mean, if you're going to offer me a chance to go here or anywhere else, anywhere. But I've seen it all.
Yeah, but I got to say, I was researching an upcoming trip for myself, and I saw an article. It was clickbait. It was just a nonsensical article, but and it was the 10 world locations that you can still do a cheap trip. And I'll be goddamned every time I see something like this. Las Vegas.
Las Vegas is on there.
Las Vegas is number 1 or number 10. And well, we've talked about that. Las Vegas isn't cheap anymore.
No,
it's not cheap anymore.
Yeah.
Maybe at one time. That's just old, outdated information.
Yeah.
Let me interject really quick. You were talking about horse races.
Yes.
Justify is running at 1:00 today for
it
the Triple
is.
Crown. I'm
Yes.
happy to say that I saw Justify win in the Kentucky
At the
Derby.
Kentucky Derby,
Yes.
I saw those pictures in the rain.
In the rain.
And your hat.
And my hat.
And your hat. Yes,
So I'm excited to see if Justify takes the Triple Crown.
I hope so.
I hope so too.
I hope
I'm
so.
going to try and watch that.
I don't know how long it's been since we've had a Triple
Couple
Crown.
of years. American Pharoah one, I think.
Pharoah,
two
that's
years
right.
ago.
2 years
Yeah.
ago,
But before that, it was like Secretariat.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think
it was.
wasn't it? So it goes back to the 70s. I
Yeah.
remember that.
Yeah. No, that'd be fantastic.
Yeah.
1:00.
1
1:00.
o'clock.
What, Eastern?
It's
no.
4 Eastern, so 1 for us.
1 for us.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which would be over by the time this airs, but
Yeah.
we'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll know. We'll know. Okay, so I'm sitting in the studio with two. I consider myself part of the group, but two very healthy people. They kill
agree.
themselves to be healthy, and will die healthy. But is it hard to be healthy in Las Vegas? Do you think it's hard? Is it harder than any other city? Is it harder than L.A., Chicago?
I think it's easier.
You think so?
Yeah. Well, I know that statistically they found. I used to live in the Pacific Northwest,
Yeah.
and that they have higher cancer rates in the Pacific Northwest, probably because of sunshine.
Yeah.
It rains a lot there, or it's either gonna rain or it's gonna rain tomorrow. you know, pretty much all the time, except for, you know, in the summer, it doesn't. But nevertheless, you get outdoors more. You can do more out there. And then we don't have snow to deal with in the winter. Where people just stay inside. Yeah. And it seems to me that, you juxtapose that with, sure, all the gambling and the drinking that we tend not to do, those of us that live here. Yeah. You know, it's a weekend indulgence for travelers to come and you know, to behave like that and to drink too much and eat too much and piss away their money or whatever. But for those of us who live here, I don't find it difficult.
Yeah, check your humanity at the door. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think it can be. So it's funny. I'm in the mortgage industry when I'm not writing. And, you know, I did have to go back to the casino industry for a very brief stint after the mortgage market crashed. Right. And I will tell you, I got really nervous because I was way more conscious of my health when I went back the second time. And I was conscious of the fact that I was breathing in smoke every day standing at the concierge desk at the Wynn. Yeah. It saturated my hair, my clothes.
Oh, absolutely.
So for people that work in casinos, I think it's really bad for you.
Yeah, it's going to depend on your job. And the other thing is the stress. It has one of the worst commutes ever. Really here in Las Vegas, having to go to work, and I don't have to deal with that either. Since I telecommute.
Yeah, I agree with you. I mean, LA obviously is legendary as far as their traffic, but our commute is awful. You know, and it was like I said, I've gone on autopilot and not really remembered how I got to the garage of the Venetian.
I know.
You know, it's kind of scary.
You know, when I worked there, I can think of stretches where, I mean, for 3 or 4 days in a row, I would see an accident. Not like, there's an accident over to the side of the road that slowed down traffic. I saw it happen. I mean, I saw cars blow tires. I had hunks of you know, I had to just swerve out of the way of hunks of rubber flying at me. I mean, multiple days in a row on the freeway because of the heat. So it was awful. It was an awful commute.
Well, I remember, and you know, it was the only single time in my work career I was late for work. And it was because a pig truck rolled over on what we call here the spaghetti bowl. Yeah. Live pigs, dead pigs, just it was awful, and I was mortified. I couldn't believe it. I had to get on the phone and call, and you know, to my surprise and glee, everybody was late. I mean, the casino was almost empty of the next shift because we couldn't get to it. But yeah, it was just awful, and I didn't really see much of it because we got off before the pig. You know, Armageddon, but so back to the healthy thing. If you discount all the people that come here, because you're right, you know, people come here and rightly so, and have a great time and just eat your way, you know, and gamble your way through Vegas just for a couple days. But you discount all those people, all the tourists, all the fanny packers, John's favorite people, and then you bring it down to us. You bring it down to all the casino employees and all the people that aren't. Because we have a tremendous number of industries here that aren't gambling or hotel. Mortgage being one of them. We're actually kind of a large mortgage industry here. But do you think we're healthier, not as healthy, about the same? Do we represent the United States about the same, or do you think we're better?
I think statistically, if we look at it, obesity rates are higher in the South. Louisiana, I think, is number one in terms of unhealthy lifestyle or unhealthy people. Mississippi is right up there. So being in the West, again, when you know, there's being overweight ties into a lot of health issues, whether it's heart, diabetes. Those are the main killers, and also cancer. You know, cancer, is a gambling disease, right? I mean, they're finding out and it is scary, but it's a crapshoot who develops cancer and who doesn't. You know, lifestyle can play a part in it, but it's abnormal cell growth. So the more mass you have, the more likely one of those cells or cells in your body are going to mutate and be cancerous. Right. So again, nature favors smaller people. Yeah, so we have smaller people here in terms of their body mass.
I know I quoted 30 podcasts ago. The number one it changed. It used to be Germany, and the obesity, global obesity, was Saudi Arabia. Oh, and the UAE. It was a tie of sorts. But now I remember, Julia, you and I, when we were working a swing, it was a late swing, it was 5 to 1. We would go from the hotel to the gym and
yes,
then home.
We would.
And I missed that. I thought that was great.
Cool.
I don't go to the gym. I got one at my house now, but was it hard? Do you think it was hard for us to do that? I don't remember it being hard.
No. I've always done it. I'm a meal prepper on Sundays. I prepare my lunches for the entire week. Yeah. So while everyone else in the office is eating the pizza that they called in, I'm eating my salad and my vegetables. And, people are always making fun of me.
Than you, generally speaking?
All ages.
Okay, because oftentimes you become a little more conscious. You can get away with that when you're 30.
Yeah.
Shit.
Remember those? But
they're
those
all
years?
big.
Yeah, they are.
They're all big.
I'm shocked when I walk around anywhere, and I don't think it's specifically Las Vegas. I think it's specifically the United States. I'm shocked at the level that people have let themselves go.
A lot of that is our diet, because even living in Japan, I first went there in '84. You were really hard pressed to see. I mean, every now and then, sure, you saw a guy who was big, who was into judo. I mean, I've seen sumo wrestlers up close, and they're really gigantic. But for the most part, they were very slender. But I did notice in later years, because teaching at the women's college, where all my students were 18 to 22, that it used to be that, I would have one student that was heavy, overweight. Then I started having one per class. And what it was, I attributed to what they ate. And what were they eating? Makudunarudo, right? McDonald's.
Yep.
And all that, and 7-Eleven. And stuff in there and buying all this shit from 7-Eleven. And I said, the ones that ate the more traditional diet stayed thin.
I have an interesting anecdote about that. 7-Eleven, one of the things that my company and me, we cover large conferences. And 7-Eleven was involved in one of these conferences. And they had this enormous salon they had built. And basically it was a 7-Eleven. It was a copy of a 7-Eleven. And I started to see they were bringing in the food, to stock it in sort of a faux way. Oh my God, it was awful. I mean, that nothing was real. And I looked at one box, and I looked at the date on the box, and I asked the guy. I said, "Is this what you serve in the stores?" He said, "Well, yes." He said, "This one actually came from Los Angeles, from an active delivery, and it was 2 years old."
Ew.
Yeah. Now, granted, it was like Twinkies and ho-hos and everything else.
It's just, I can't even imagine putting that in my body. I really
gosh,
can't.
yeah.
And all those Twinkies and ho-hos, those are all going to be left here when all humanity is gone.
That's right.
And someday, an alien race will come here and look around. And that's what they'll find. They'll see, this is what must have killed these people.
Yeah.
Right? This is all that's left of this civilization. This was the pinnacle of their achievement.
You guys, but I'm fascinated by all things diet and health. I am fascinated. I was watching a documentary, and the name escapes me right now, but it followed the trends. So in the 50s, fat became the demon, right?
Yeah.
And they switched to margarine, which is one molecule away from plastic.
Yeah.
So it was fat-free this, fat-free that, which means they just dump a bunch of sugar into it and other preservatives. And then it became that sugar was the demon, and everybody went all protein, Atkins. And now we know that causes cancer. Now it's keto. Everything's keto. And you want to eat, 70 to 80% of your diet as fat, which means you're eating all this red meat and, coconut oil, and you're completely eliminating fruits and vegetables, which is the major thing that humans were meant to eat. We have small, square teeth. We don't have ripping fangs for ripping meat. But everyone's on the keto. I just find it fascinating. Like, what's going to happen when they realize keto is... What's next?
Well, a lot of the problems that I see is that they do new research and they find out new things, but it doesn't supplant in people's mind the old stuff that has been outdated. And one of the things, for example, eggs were demonized for a long time. And now they found out, and there was a meta-analysis done of numerous studies just released last week. And what it showed was, and they compared people that ate no eggs to people who ate up to 12 eggs a week. and they found that for markers of heart disease, the people who ate eggs had actually fewer markers of heart disease than people who didn't. Cholesterol levels don't really matter. That's, they found out now over time. But fat, particularly saturated fat, was demonized by Ansel Keys, who was a researcher and a very bad one. And he committed in science really the cardinal crime of deliberately ignoring evidence just to support his hypothesis. Mm-hmm. And what he had shown way back in the 60s was that he had data that showed that in countries where people had a high-fat diet, and he used the U.S. and I think Norway, they had more heart disease, and like in Japan where they had lower fat diets. But what was available to Keys that he deliberately overlooked was that there was data from other countries that refuted that. Yep. That there were countries where they had high fat and low heart disease, but now that doesn't fit his model. Mm-hmm. So he just ignored it. So that's why we had this idea that you have to cut fat and everything. Well, fat, even saturated fat, is important for the production of hormones.
Yes.
So you end up with hormonal problems if you don't get enough fat in your diet. So that's something else that has to be weighed in. But yeah, like everything else, you're hard pressed now even to find something that has gluten in it, because now that's the bad guy.
Yeah.
We've been eating gluten since they started since agriculture. When the Egyptians invented bread. You might want to control it, and for some people, sure, you shouldn't have it. But
and the gluten thing, and I'm not going to rail off all these all the things that I've seen, but the gluten thing, in my opinion, is twofold. It's an excuse for parents to avoid one thing or another. The number of people with an actual gluten allergy is minute comparatively. Mm-hmm. But what the gluten issue, I think, is it really is our issue, is we've ruined our soil. Our pesticides, the Frankenseeds, the Monsantos of the world have ruined our soil.
Yes.
And therefore, but gluten is just the scapegoat. Yeah,
it's also a marketing ploy. Just
of course it is.
You buy this, now I feel good. Hey, I've eliminated gluten from my diet, now I'm healthy.
Yeah. Well, what people do is, if they eat a muffin for breakfast, then they say to themselves, I'm going to have a gluten-free muffin for breakfast.
It has blueberries
and I'm
in
good.
It. Yeah, it has blueberries in it. I got my fruit.
And I'm good now because now I'm having a gluten-free muffin. Yeah. Well, no, you're not good. You're eating terrible preservatives.
Well, it's got whole grains.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other
one.
It's
stupid.
And 6 tablespoons of sugar in it.
Now, I have to say something you said earlier, Julia. I'm still on the diet that I chose to, with the no meat and everything else, and it's actually worked out fantastically for me. Plus, I exercise every day. But you mentioned margarine. I went to, one of the things that I use in substitute of meat is flavoring.
Yes.
You have to do something because broccoli is broccoli and it's boring. So you got to do something. So I went back to using butter. Now just a little bit of butter, but real butter, sweet cream butter, a little bit of salt. You're fine.
Not bad.
Now you made the mention about the margarine thing. Now I have a problem with that, saying it's one. The people that say it's one molecule away from plastic. Well, okay, but so are we. Sort of. I'm joking, but. It is not plastic though. I mean, but it's bad for you. But I just, a lot of people say that about that one molecule thing. I've heard something. They said it's we're one molecule away from being chimpanzees. And I hate that.
Yeah.
But now I've gone back to using natural things. The butter
that's
being
what
natural.
It's all about.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. It is.
I like ghee. Do you try?
Ghee.
Yeah, I like ghee. That's the Indian.
Yeah. Are we done with quinoa?
No, I eat quinoa.
Oh, I eat quinoa all the time.
Are we still on the quinoa wave?
I love quinoa.
Yeah. Okay.
But I will say about keto, and my husband follows the keto diet. We disagree. We eat completely separate dinners every night. We always have. Uh-huh. But
separate room, separate dinner.
Kinda. But I will say about the keto, I think the way people are justifying eating that way is there are lots of studies that have come out, real studies that say eating a keto diet shrinks tumorous growths, which is true. If you have cancer and you go on a keto diet, you can shrink your tumors. But we're talking preventative. Mm-hmm. You're not going to eat a bunch of fat and red meat to prevent cancer. You're going to eat vegetables and fruit to do that, right?
Oh, and nuts. Nuts are high in fat.
And nuts, And you're going to want to eat fat. Yeah, I eat olive oil. I have a tablespoon on my vegetables, and that's that. So, Anyway, sorry to bring us into that, but I just find all this stuff
No, not at all. In
fascinating.
fact, I'm going to show my ignorance and look to my two experts here. I actually definitionally don't know what paleo is. You want to help me with that one? What is paleo?
Yeah, it's the idea there is that you should eat more like the Paleolithic man did. So that means really no agriculture. That was pre-agriculture.
Okay.
So, no grains. It's going to be pretty much meat and vegetables, things like that that are not cultivated, more or less. Yeah.
All right.
It's a healthy diet.
more of a like a structural, practical diet.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand.
Yeah, it's funny how when I look at that, I mean, you look at the flip side, like veganism, but nevertheless, there are sound principles in there where of certain avoiding certain things, and again, I think anybody somewhere where the twains meet is to me, I think that the real culprit is processed food, because you could have a vegan diet and be very unhealthy because everything is processed.
Oh, for sure.
So in that respect, I look at it. Like I said, I don't eat meat, so I wouldn't follow a paleo diet. But I do like that idea of not using processed food. I rarely eat bread. For me, once a week. That's it. Limit it, and I just don't. And for me that works. Maybe other people it's different. But just cut that out. Pasta, things like that.
Yeah. I was never a pasta guy. Yeah, bread was okay, but pasta I never got into. But back to Vegas a little bit. We had a question actually to John from Sherry J off of Podbean, and she asks, "Were you given more credit / respect for being older and male working in the casino industry, specifically as a concierge?"
That's a good question. Of course, age being relative, right? I had just turned 40. I spent my 40th birthday at the Clark County Jail getting fingerprinted and for the gaming card and whatever else that we needed to have.
Okay.
And so that's how I spent my 40th birthday. So yeah, I was the oldest concierge.
Yes, you were.
And working with all of these 30-year-olds like you, and Julie, you were even younger than that. You were probably in your mid-20s.
Yeah.
That people often mistook me for being in charge. And I didn't know. And most of our colleagues were women. So, there was that stereotype. I was male and I was the oldest one, therefore I must be in charge. Did they give me more respect? Probably less, because they came in and they bitched and moaned at me. And I thought, hey, I'm not getting paid that extra $1 an hour to have you, spit all over me. Right. That woman over there that's like half my age.
Yeah.
Go spit at her, because she's getting paid for that. So, to answer the question, I mean, that was just, I knew it. I could just see it in their eyes when they came up. Are you the one in charge? That's what they would say. I said, no, that's the young lady at the end of the counter is, or my colleague down there is. Go talk to her.
I have to agree. I mean, I have been, thankfully, I have been looked at as a leader all my life. I mean, I have always joked I could be wearing, shorts and Huarache sandals and people would still come to me before a well-dressed woman. Did you find that?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Do you think it's more so here in Vegas because it's a very masculine industry, gambling? Do you think that's?
Yeah, I mean, most of the pit bosses and most of those types of people are men.
Yeah. The only time for me that it had its advantages was because our manager, what they called the chef, Nicole, had said that Adelson preferred older concierge. Well, in my case, I was just coming back to the country. Yeah. I'd been gone for 15 years. So I said, you're probably not going to find too many people qualified to do this kind of job who's willing to do it for $11.95 an hour at my age. You're going to be younger. Right. But there I was. So whenever they had some type of, we got VIP, need a tour, she got me to do it. So it was nice to get away from the desk. So I did get to use that as an advantage. Those people thought I was in charge, although I wasn't. But again, it was feeding into that stereotype of he's a guy and he's the oldest one, therefore he must be in charge. And I said, no, no, I'm not.
Nor would you want to be.
I don't want to be, and it doesn't bother me. I don't want to help you with that problem. Yeah. You're right. You need a manager for that, and it's not me. So
Now, do you feel? I don't know. I don't know the dollars and cents behind this question, but do you feel you were tipped less, Julia?
Oh yeah.
You do?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, significantly?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think men make more tips.
Do you think, Jamey, when we started, we had 6 guys? I was thinking about that today. There was you and there was Fred Wayne,
yes,
Jay, Stanley, and me, right? So there were 6 guys and 20 women.
Uh-huh.
And I wondered if, Jay left after that, and Stan was Stan. But between the 4 of us that were remaining, do you think probably we made as much in tips as the rest of the women put together? Or close to it?
I remember Fred doing very well.
Yeah. Close to it. Close to it.
Yeah.
I would say probably not consistently more, but I think the numbers would be in our favor because yes, Fred did well. I did well. There was a time, I was disillusioned with the work there.
Yeah, I don't think we got that much. I mean, for me, when I started thinking about it, we had we would get big tips. We would get the $100 ones, and generally speaking, those were from men, and they come out specifically looking to talk to another guy. I think that they would seek us out, particularly the ones from South America.
Yeah.
Because they came here and they would come to the desk, and that they were well heeled. If they're coming from a country like Brazil and they're staying in our hotel, they probably pretty well off, right? Yeah. And they would come here. I had a guy ask me what time it was because, of course, there's no clocks here, and I looked at my watch and said it was 3:00. He gave me $50.
Yeah, I know. I've had wild cards like that. Yeah, it's very strange.
Yeah.
But I think that my thought process as far as Julia representing the women on the desk receiving fewer tips is one of 2 reasons. One, the guy's coming up and hitting on you, and is not interested in tipping. He's interested in getting a date with you, or the question embarrasses him one way or another, and he'll come to us.
Yeah.
I remember not doing well.
Yeah, really?
Oh, yeah. I depended on our commissions.
Yeah.
I did not do well with tips.
Huh.
Nope.
I remember one time working at the desk with Marta, and she was looking, and some guy gave me a couple dollars for something.
Yeah.
And she says, I watch you as you work, so I try to imitate, because Marta was a non-native speaker, right?
Yeah.
So she's watching, how come the guys are getting tips and we're not?
Mm-hmm.
So she sat there and watched to see how I dealt with the guest and why he gave me money. So she tried it and it didn't work for her. I said, well, sometimes they're not always going to give me money, but no, there's a thing where maybe they think they have to tip the guy, and maybe with the woman, I don't know. I can't explain that.
I really can't explain it. I mean,
I have a theory.
Yeah,
please. I don't know if people out there would hate this theory, but it's just my personal opinion. I believe that society in general sees women as caretakers. Their job is to take care of children and people, and they find it uncomfortable when a man is taking care of them, therefore they tip. But it's completely accepted, and they feel better when a woman is taking care of them because a woman is motherly and that's her job. And they don't need to compensate because that's what she's supposed to do. That's my opinion.
Good point. Because remember what I was told is when they're hiring people to be a concierge, they found that people who were teachers or those type of caregivers are good for that role. That's why, I'd been a teacher. That's why I got the job, right? In fact, when they had those interviews, they had things that this is the same type sort of activities I did in my classrooms. So yeah, in that, and most teachers, or a lot of teachers, are women. I mean, I work with teaching groups all the time when I go in different states and with state departments, and I rarely work with a man. Most of the people in my industry are women, but the stereotype does extend. I will go there with the person who deals with math, and I'm doing English language arts, and my colleague is doing math, and my colleague is a woman. They'll come up and they'll look at me and say, "Are you the math guy?"
Yeah.
And they'll just assume. I said, "No, that's her. I do ELA. I'm the language guy."
No, it's the Asian guy. It's the math guy.
Yeah, that's right.
All right. Well, here, last question for us. What, and these are for all of our guests coming in, listeners that are coming into Vegas maybe for the first time. What is the minimum in our what we did, concierge? What is the minimum where a person should tip? The expectation of the concierge, the effort of the concierge receives the tip. What is the minimum that they could ask? Not where's the bathroom, obviously. That's. So what do you think? Where did you get stiffed? Where you thought, well, shit, I just did that, and he should have given me $5.
I think I think anytime you successfully arrange something, it's worth a couple bucks. I used to say to myself, if everyone gave me $1, I'd do very well. Yeah. We helped over 100 people a day.
Yeah.
But I definitely think if you have asked a concierge to book a dinner and a show coupling for you for an evening, that deserves at least $5. I used to book, remember even more. Remember when we used to book, we'd book, we're here 4 nights. We want dinner and a show for every night.
Yeah.
Well, guys, that's, 45 minutes to an hour sitting on hold, giving the credit card information, getting confirmation numbers. We let you walk away from the desk and we make a nice card for you. And, we leave you a message and we give, we send the card up to your room, whatever. That's worth at least $20. If not more. We've now provided your entire experience while in Vegas. I got stiffed all the time after booking after spending a considerable amount of time.
Yeah. I can't say the same. I can't say it was a lot. I did not it wasn't often.
Yeah.
People were pretty good to me. You too.
Yeah, again. There are times when, that's a good question. To me, it would be, for example, if somebody wanted, within our hotel, if somebody wanted a reservation at Star Canyon, I do that for nothing. That's easy.
Yeah.
Delmonico, which is Emerald, is right next door. That's going to take some time. We've got a block of a few seats there, but I am expecting something for that, for pulling that one out. That's going to take a little time. I might have to, call them and beg or whatever just to get through to them. But that's worth something. The same with the shows. If I have to, I remember one time I had a guy, he wanted to see Danny Gans. Now, for people who had never come, Danny Gans was interesting. He was so popular. His show was sold out all the time, but he was a name that you really didn't hear out of him outside of Las Vegas.
Right.
But people who always wanted to see Danny Gans. And I had a guy call and he wanted the Danny Gans tickets. And I thought, okay, well, they're really hard to get. He goes, not only that, he says, my buddy's already got tickets, and he told me where he was sitting. I called over there, son of a bitch, if I didn't get the seats right next to him. And I thought, oh, wow, this is great. And I told the guy, hey, I managed to get the seats right next to your buddy.
Wow.
And he came there and he said, I'll take care of you when I get there. Well, he comes in and he slips me something. He did come. I give him credit for that. And as customer, I don't look. I said, thank you very much. But he goes, no, look at that. That's a brand new 5.
A brand new 5.
A brand new 5, because it was a new style when they had the bigger heads of Lincoln on there. And I was talking, I'm sorry for that. And then I got him dinner somewhere. That should have been $20. But hey, I'll take the 5.
I'll take an old 20.
Yeah, I'll take an old 20.
Don't care how old it is.
But yeah, and I knew people that came there and say, oh, you guys must make a lot of money. Every time I come, I see everybody. I see everybody giving the doorman $2. No, I never saw the doorman get anything. I stood right there by the door, and I said, I don't know where they're coming from. But I don't see people handing the doorman $2 or the valet. Maybe the valet guys, and they get a couple of bucks. But
I feel a discomfort. Now I'm old school. My parents, are older, and I feel a discomfort not tipping. Mm-hmm. I tip at the airport, with the guys take my bag, because it's hard work. It's miserable out there. I kind of want them to get the bag on the plane.
Please.
So a couple bucks a bag, and I don't know. I don't know what the mindset is.
I was that way, with the housekeepers. Always put always make sure I have $1 bills so I can leave something for the housekeeper. Mm-hmm. And I was in meetings a couple of weeks ago and I left and I was going to come back to my room before I went to the meeting, and the meeting started at 8:00. Well, geez, by the time I got back, the housekeeper was already in my room cleaning it, and I hadn't left the $2. I went back there deliberately and hunted her down to give her $2.
Yeah,
for cleaning the room that day.
Yeah. Well, you're wild, John.
Broken
lamps.
You were in my room. Yes, here. I meant to leave it for you, but you got in there too soon.
Yeah. Well, I'm interested to hear your perspective on tipping, Julia. I never really completely understood that. And were your opinion isn't uncommon, I'm assuming. You spoke to the other other girls.
Oh yeah, I think so.
And I didn't know if it was gender or if it was age also, that somehow they thought that they were younger, but no, I don't think that was it either.
No, I don't know, because I think Debbie Brumfield did pretty well. She was the oldest woman.
Yeah.
For a while, yeah.
For a while, and I do think she did okay. I think she did.
I think
right.
maybe among the women. So maybe that's part of it too. Is it's two things. It's gender and it is age.
Well, and I know this was an article I read a while ago, but it has to do across the board, including the gambling industry, is that people have become savvy, sort of, to the point where they understand that concierge, for example, make money on they make a percentage of a ticket. They know this now. They make a percentage of this. They get a little juice off of this, or they think this. They think we're pulling in all these extra points off of these sales, and we're not. We were never doing that. We made a commission off a few things here and there, which very, very quickly stopped because the hotel saw more revenue. But we don't. So tips are incredibly important.
Yeah, yeah. And I remember I had this guy come to this guy. He was an asshole. And he comes there and he asks about O tickets. And I said, he said, so you don't have any back there, huh? No, we never have them back here. I've never even seen a fucking O ticket. The whole time I worked there, I never even saw, except for I take that back. I said, yeah, we do have them from when people bought them from a ticket broker, right? And they dropped them off in an envelope. And we would keep them there. But no, we don't have them back here in our own personal stash that I'm going to slide to you. I just don't have those. Maybe go talk to a casino host. Maybe they do.
Yeah.
But the only tickets we had were for the second-rate, B- shows, Crazy Girls and Spellbound and a few others. Those are the ones we sold.
They're more fun anyway.
Yeah, and this guy, he stood there and just did not believe me that, oh no, I think you got them back there.
Yeah, speaking of O is one of the Cirque du Soleil productions here, the most popular, I think, still. I was damned if I do, damned if I didn't. And people would ask for wet seats, which are relatively front row, and you could be involved and get a little wet because O is around a pool. And then I got the guy I got him premium seats, and he came back and chastised me and called the hotel manager on me because he got wet with the wet seats. Yeah, so
those weren't necessarily even the best seats. I mean,
no, they weren't. It was too close.
And there was a story I remember we had. Remember Hope? She worked with us for a while, and she had to help Jason Alexander. What a douchebag that guy was, because he wanted O tickets, so she got him the wet seats. She got him seats. They weren't the wet seats. They were a couple rows back. They were better than the wet seats. Like we said, she got him a couple rows back for him. And then he came to the desk and said, "No, it's okay. I don't need them. I got better seats. I got front row or something." He got wet seats from the casino house, so he stiffed her on it. Okay.
Oh man.
Well, after you put in all that effort and she got these for you, arranged it, and then he didn't give her anything for it, and then thought, "Oh, I did better." Good. Well, I hope you think so.
Yeah.
Practically in the pool with the dancers.
You can't see the choreography of the show, so
no. In fact, that's the same for people. Think it's much like Broadway. We have very small venues. MGM Grand, aside, the venues are very small, and there's the whole obstructed view seat, which I'm not even going to discuss because I had way too many problems with that. Where you're sitting behind a pillar, but it's half price. But no, it's very small. But I love the small shows. I've said this before.
Yeah.
That's one small show I saw recently over at Planet Hollywood is Zombie Burlesque. It was absolutely hysterical. Wonderful, talented cast. If you like singing and just the whole premise is goofy. Vampires and zombies and running around, and they had chairs. They had like banquet chairs. There wasn't a theater. He just a flat floor banquet chair watching the show, and it was fantastic. Yeah, so I recommend that highly. But
or Popovich and his trained cats. Yeah, that's a great.
I thought it was dogs.
He has dogs and cats.
Cats?
Yeah,
house cats.
Cats. He has trained house cats. Which is, if having a cat, you cannot do that. You cannot. You can train dogs, right? You can train dogs, but cats, no. Popovich has found a way. He has trained cats.
Wow.
Oh wow.
I didn't know that. I knew Popovich with the dogs for years and years.
He's got trained house cats.
Now, what's that? Dogs have family, cats have staff.
Yeah.
Is that the old joke? Yeah. You have cats.
I do.
Yeah. Three cats.
Yeah.
I thought it was two.
No.
Oh my god. Wow. Are they trained?
No.
Do you walk your cats?
No.
Oh, I recently talked to somebody who's going to walk their cat.
I used to walk.
That seems very cruel.
One of my cats. Not walk him, but he wanted to go outside in the back, so we would put him on a leash and he would go back there.
It just seems like he'd slip that leash in a heartbeat.
Yeah, it was funny. I was talking to a landscaper I know, and he told me he for one of the upper end people that live here in the valley, they wanted to have in their backyard put in a Zen garden, right? So he's got the ripples of the sand and the big boulders. Oh, they love it. Looks beautiful. So do all the neighborhood cats. They come and they shit in it.
Wow.
Of course they would. It's just a big sandbox to them.
Of course.
That's funny. That's funny.
Terrible.
Well, John and Julia. Well, welcome back, Julia.
Thank you.
And now that you have all these fans that missed you, so they will be satisfied. John has a Slayer shirt on.
Yes.
I wish everyone could see that.
I wish everybody could see that. It's a modeled sort of Jerry Garcia pattern.
Yes.
And tie-dyed Slayer
on their farewell tour.
You know what? I've yet to see a selfie or a vid or anything with you at a concert. I need to see this.
Really?
I need to see this, John.
Okay. I think I showed you the photo with where I was with Cradle of Filth.
That wasn't at the concert, though.
No, that's true.
I need to see you the stage diving something.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I say it's just something with your boy.
Yeah.
Now, did you see do you have a picture with Slayer?
No, I don't have a picture with. I have a picture with Behemoth. They opened for Slayer.
And Puddle of Filth. What is it? Cradle
of Filth.
All right.
No, that's Puddle of Mud.
But, okay. Wow, I'm the short straw here. Everybody knows this, but okay. But John has a Slayer shirt on. If you want to see John in his Pod Bay Door shirt,
yes.
Check out our social media, Netflix, Instagram.
I think people want to see Julia wearing the Pod Bay.
Yes, or not wearing a shirt at all. That's what I'm thinking.
Those pictures are on there, but for that you have to go to our spot.
That's right. You have to order the premium network for us. But John and Julia, thanks for being here. Thanks to our sponsor, MRS Events, for all of your local event needs for musicians and talent of all types, including
hot chicks.
Yes, you can go to mrs-events.com and they can take care of it. They're a fantastic company here. If you want to get a hold of us, it's the podbaydoorlv@gmail.com. Again, that's the podbaydoorlv@gmail.com. Any questions you have for Julia, John, or myself, please direct those there. Check out all of our social networking. You can see all those t-shirt sightings. And if you like the t-shirts, let me know. We can see if we can arrange that for you. But for John and Julia, this is Jamey, and we will see you next week. Thanks to everyone listening and watching. You can catch the Pod Bay Door on the Podbean app or any of your favorite podcast apps, including iTunes, Google Play, TuneIn, and Stitcher Radio. You can watch the show on our YouTube channel at the Pod Bay Door Podcast. Please download, like, and subscribe. Our social connectivity screen is coming up. Check in with us on Facebook, Twitter, and WordPress. The Pod Bay Door is closed and talent is out. Hey everybody, thank you very much for tuning into the show. We would love to hear your show suggestions and comments. If you are watching on our YouTube channel, please click to subscribe. You can also connect with us on Facebook using @PBD Podcast, on Twitter using @TPBD Podcast, and on WordPress at thepodbaydoor.wordpress.com.